Hey, how's it going? Early check-in today with progress and updates because, it's almost 4:30 and I'm pretty sure I'm not going to get anything else worky done today. And it hasn't really been a huge worky day anyway, as it isn't normally on a Saturday. But one of the things I have done is sat down and thought about some goals, specifically around the podcast. There's a lot more to go, not just with the podcast goals, but with other goal setting as well. Over the course of this weekend, that's my my plan, if you will, to do some light touch stuff, nothing too intrusive into family life over the course of the weekend. But I have found today my mind being on the podcast and where that's going. Basically, I started the podcast in January, and I think I've just launched the 20th episode yesterday. And I think yesterday's was on goal setting and Tuesday's was with Vicky Patterson. So the combination of the two, she gave it a little bump and a nudge on her social media yesterday as well. And I'd launched and put out to my my followers and subscribers a note about the goal setting. So I actually had the biggest day that I've had so far yesterday. And what's interesting is, the biggest day, I'll tell you the figures, it's 170 downloads. So it's not that many, really. It's decent. I'm happy with that. Don't get me wrong, but it's not, I'm not looking to get tens of thousands of downloads every single day. I think I've had 4,500 downloads since I started the podcast, thereabouts. But here's the interesting thing. So 170 downloads yesterday took me into the top 30 on the charts for my particular subcategory. So Great Britain, you've got Great Britain all podcasts chart, then you've got the health and fitness category. There's about 50 different categories. Then you've got subcategories as well. And I'm in health and fitness, and the subcategory is alternative health. And my goal with the podcast, this is one of the things I was writing down, is to be in the top 10 consistently. So in terms of numbers, I'm getting to the point here. In terms of the numbers, what that means is I need really to be getting about 150 to 200 downloads a day consistently, plus some reviews, plus some subscribers, plus people sharing it. I think that counts as well. It's not just how many downloads have you had. There's lots of other factors as well that they take into consideration when they're putting together the charts. But obviously being in the charts gives you more visibility, attracts new listeners, more subscribers, and so it spirals and grows. So first and foremost, it's about creating quality content, but I do know, and in terms of putting numbers on it, if I can grow it to about 200 downloads a day, that should get me, I think, into around about the top 10 consistently. And the consequence of that, the reason why that is important, isn't for an ego boost, but because it'd be nice to have that, but it's because I think anyway, it's my thinking, thought pattern. If I've got top 10, then there's more visibility. If there's more visibility, I'm getting more subscribers. It's easier to drive people to the podcast. There's more credibility with it. Again, this is just belief rather than fact. Potentially easier to get other guests on the show who perhaps don't have a relationship or connection with, and that increased exposure then could potentially lead to more opportunities. I'm not thinking about kind of advertising. That's really not the objective at all with the show. It's not to kind of make money or to get products or anything. It's to get that exposure that ultimately leads to potential opportunities, whether that's coaching, online programs, my own programs, expanding my own network, or speaking opportunities. So that's the kind of the thought process. It's not just because I want a podcast, it's because doing the podcast leads to this, leads to this, leads to this. And of course it's fun as well. If it was a different way of doing it and getting more exposure and I didn't enjoy doing it, then I wouldn't be doing it. But I'm enjoying the podcast, and that's the key thing really. So today's been about sitting down, writing out some of those goals, making a list of some of the people who I do want to get on the show, some of the things I want to explore and talk about, some of the solo shows that I want to do, and actually some of the other ways that I want to split bits of content and share them more widely, not just on the podcast channels. So I feel like I've kind of gone through the first phase, establishing first 20 shows done, first 2 months done. Now it's time to start looking at how I can expand this and develop it a little bit more systematically, a little bit more strategically. So that's been the major focus of today's work stuff. But mainly it's been going on my head with a few bits written down on paper as well. But thanks for watching today's updates. Thanks for listening. Give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and check back in again tomorrow for another daily update. Bye for now.